תקשיבו, אני באמת מאמין שהרבה אנשים רצו שאני אעשה האנט כזה. האנט שמשתמש בשיטה שנקראת שיטת מסודה. הבאתי לעצמי, החלפתי דיטו, תפסתי דיטו, החלפתי אותו עם דיטו אחר ממחוז יפני, ועכשיו יש לי ביצים לעשות ברידינג שייני האנט.
Off a hammer arm like it's nothing. Then a single liquidation finishes off Molane's pseudo-legendary. All that's left is Bisharp, who yet again just goes for a metal sound for some reason. And having to resort to using Struggle, it's completely safe. But Tuck's death and defense as a amazing move. He must perish. Let's finish this run once and for all. How very generously starts with his Alolan Raichu, so I lead with Roll. And then with the flick of our wrist, Raichu gets one shot by a priority first impression. What an amazing move. Second is How's horrendously ugly Snow Crab. He has Stone Edge, so it's off to Ada for a bit of light stalling. Well, not really. I mean, I do protect for a turn to gain back some HP with leftovers, because that's just being smart. But then, after somehow dodging yet another Stone Edge, I Volt Switch out to Hopper. And with Hopper safely out now, a superpower is enough to get the kill on the Goofy Ice type, though it does lower our attack and defense as a result. So third is Incineroar, and the plan was to let Hopper go down here to get a safe switch. But when it came down to it, I just didn't have the heart to let it happen. So instead, I hard switched to Tuck, who ends up taking a very nasty Inferno Overdrive Z move. Even with Water Bubble, it does more than 50%. Leftovers heals a bit of HP, and we get a little more back by protecting on the next turn as usual. But Incineroar's Darkest Lariat does way too much damage on the following turn. Like a crit would have just flat out killed Tuck. Since it didn't crit, we do get off a lick.
אני יודעת כמה אתם אוהבים את נירו, ועם כל הכבוד, לספריגטיטו יש שייני מכוער ברמות, ושייני דריפי ממש קשה למצוא בווילד, אז אני החלטתי שלקחת את נירו עם הדיטו הזה, ועם פלקון שיש לו פליים בדי, לעשות שילוב של כולם, ועכשיו אנחנו הולכים לצוד ביצים. לצוד שייני מביצי פוקמון. תסתכלו שנייה. יש לי פה את הבוקסים שלי. יש לי שיינים, סידרתי את זה יפה. זה הדיטו. זה גם פוקימון שתפסתי, ברמבלגאסט. זה מה שלא צריך לפתח. וכל מה שאתם רואים פה, 50 ביצים של דריפי. אנחנו הולכים לעשות 10 נגלות. של ביצי דריפי. לכמה מהם יכול להיות אולי קרסט בדי, שזה ההידן אביליטי של דריפי. ההידן אביליטי של דריפי. כן, ההידן אביליטי של דריפי דרופי. דריפי דריפ דריפי 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 דריפי. זה לא הולך להיות לייב ארוך. נראה לי לא ספלטאוס זה מקום מאוד טוב להפקר את הביצים שלנו. הסיכוי זה 1 ל-500 בערך. עם שיטת מסודה זה טיפה יותר מורכב משעניין של ביצים. כאילו, אבל יאללה, אנחנו נוכל לעשות את זה. יכול תכלס לעשות גם סנדוויץ' של האצ'ינג פאוור, אבל אני מעדיף שלא. אני ממליץ לכם, אחרי הפוסט גיים, תאמנו פלצ'לינג שיש לו פליים באדי, וזה יעזור לכם כל כך באמת. או פלצ'לינג, או רולי קולי. יש עוד פה כמה גם שיכולים לעשות את זה, או מגמר. מגמר תכלס לא במשחק הזה, אבל גם במשחקים אחרים זה עובד. אין דייקר פה, אז כאילו זה רק... כמה זמן לוקח הביצה הזאת לפקוע? אני עם פליים באדי, להזכירכם אני עם פליים באדי. לצ'ונק, לצ'ונק. לצ'ונק, 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 לצ'ונק. לוס פלטאוס. פלטוס, לוס פלטוס. לוס פלטוס, אוקיי, נקרא לזה לוס פלטוס מעכשיו בו. הביצים מבוקות. האם בדגלה הראשונה יהיה לנו הפתעה, חברים? אני מזכיר לכם, יש לנו 50 ביצים של דריפי לפתוח היום. דריפי ראשונה מן הסתם לא תהיה שייני. לדריפי השייני נקרא סופר נירו או הייפר נירו, אני לא יודע. עכשיו הביצים האחרות גם אמורות לפקוע. קליר בדי. אוי לא, יש לה quiet nature, רוב אבוי. Very good, pretty good, not... אוי ואבוי, זה דריפי גרוע. עוד ביצה חברים. האם בביצה השנייה יצא לנו? אני מזכיר לכם, ישבתי שעה לעשות את הביצים האלה. ויש לנו פה רק 50. דריפי שנייה גם לא שייני. גם גישה לדריפי ככה נראה לי יכול לתת לנו דריפי עם הידן אביליטי. ההידן אביליטי שלו זה קרסט בדי. זה יכול להיות יותר טוב ממה שיש לנו על הדרג הפרוט שלנו, על נירו. תפקע? never mind. אני יכול לצוד דריפי אחר. כאילו בשיטה אחרת, אבל דריפי עושה אינביזיבל, אז לא בא לי, גם דרך היא מעניינת יותר. אוקיי, זאת הביצה האחרונה כרגע. יש לנו 9 נגלות, זה לא הולך להיות לייב כזה ארוך. לא נראה לי כל כך נצליח לעשות אותה. לא צריך לעשות אותה היום, אין מצב שנעשה אותה היום, כאילו. אם היא תצא לנו היום זה יהיה מזל מטורף, אבל כאילו... אוקיי, סטאטס, בולד nature, very good, no good. אוקיי, סטאטס. lonely. אוקיי, ואבוי. אני רק רוצה לבדוק האם באמת יוצאים להם hidden abilities. לא, יוצאים להם נראה לי יוצא להם רק clear body. כי נו. כי זה הביליטי של הדרג הפולט שלי. לעשות נגל של ביצים. מה? מה קרה? מה קרה? מקבל שהוא יקבל אמייזינג סטאטס. לא בדקתי מה הסטאטים של הדרג הפול שלי. יש לו אוקיי סטאטס. Decent. Good stats. Pretty good. Good stats, אוקיי. יש לי פוקימון בכלל פה עם amazing stats. יש. לך יש amazing stats, very good, best, very good. פנטסטיק, עונה! האיירון פריץ הזה שלחדתי, יש לו סטטים מטורפים. איזה קשה לקבל פוקימון עם אמייזינג סטאטס. אחר כך אני צריך לעשות פינוי ענקי. אני רוצה שייני דרגפולט, אחי. אני רוצה תחליף לנירו. קוקו. דוס פלטוס. בוא'נה, המחוז הזה ליטרלי מבוסס על ספרד. הם עשו כבר את יונובה שמבוססת על אמריקה. לדעתי הם עשו עבודה מעולה עם המאמנים במשחק. כאילו, לא, אבל עשו עבודה מעולה עם המשחק בכללי. da 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 da. Oh, pizza! No. טוב, עכשיו כולם גם אמורות לצאת. 3, 2, 1 וביצה! אם היא תהיה נקבה נקרא לה סלינה. לא יודע, משהו עליי עם השם הזה, כאילו... גם הביצים מביאות לנו אחלה של דריפים. שיטת מסטודה הזאת. אני זוכר יצא לי ביצת דריפי עם אינפנרייטור, אז אולי יכול לצאת כאילו גם עם קירסט בדי, אני לא יודע. לצערי גם לדריפי אין כאלה אג מובס, אז כאילו... כן. תסתכלו על החמודים הבייבי דריפיז. Three, 2, 1, boom, to doom. נראה לך הביצה הזאת נשארה לנו עוד ביצה? אולי יותר עדיף לעשות שייניאנס לגטיטו או לפורקוקו, אני לא יודע, אבל... אני כרגע מעדיף על דריפי. הייתי עושה שייניאנט לקוואקסלי. ונון שייני דריפי. Good stats. Clear body, clear body, clear body, incinerator. יש לו clear body. Hard nature, good stats. Okay stats, okay, good. שוב, לא הרשים אותי. טוב, יש לי הרבה עבודה לעשות פה. והרבה דריפים למחוק. גם זה תמיד עושה לי no. אני צריך לעשות פה הרבה מאוד סדר. נראה לי זה יחסית נדיר להוציא דריפים הידן אביליטי. אבל אני חושב שזה אפשרי, כאילו יצא לי גם עם אינפנרייטור וגם עם קליר בדי, אז כאילו... No good distant. אני צריך אחד בספיד ואטאק, very good ולא decent. אולי אני יכול להכין סנדוויץ' חכו שניה, נעשה פה פיקניק. אני אנסה להכין סנדוויץ' עם האצ'ינג פאוור. אגב, אם אתם לא רוצים לפתח את פלצ'ינג, אל תפתחו, גם טאון פליים מופיע באריה זירו. אג פאוור ממש 2. אני פשוט... אני לא יודע איך יש לי... אני חייב להפסיק קאצ'ינג פאוור. לא קאצ'ינג, האצ'ינג. אולי אני אנסה? אחרי הכל ההאצ'ינג פאוור, הסוג של הפאוור משתנה לפי ההרב המיסטיקה. עכשיו ה-encounter power זה עם ספייסי. ההאצ'ינג אג פאוור זה גם עם... זה עם סוויט. אני פשוט אעשה קריאייטיב, אני אקח סתם מרכיב. אני אשים סולטי שיהיה נגמר להסולטי הרב מיסטיקה. אני צריך להשיג עוד כאלה. וביטר? אני אעשה את זה ככה. אני מקווה שזה עוזר להאצ'ינג פאוור. טוב, אני אכן פשוט קרי חסה.
this video, we're doing a hardcore Nuzlocke of Pokemon Violet. The starter for this run starts your little Fido from South Province Area 1. Prior to this challenge, Dreepy has evolved into a Mastiff. Which you think are dogs, and which ones you think are cats. I named him Henry after his flat, fluffy golden retriever, Intimidate, so I decided to try for another one later down the road. An Arcanine with Intimidate would have been critical hit water gun. I was hoping that Zerpro beat down Giacomo in his Dark-type Parade Float during the raid of the first Team Starbase. It ends up taking a few more hits than I was expecting because Giacomo spammed Snarl to lower our special attack. While Riley's doing her thing, did you know that 11% of you aren't subscribed to the channel? One-shotting this one since he was on the brink of death like 2 days ago. Guess what happens to AI Turo's 5th Pokemon Iron Bundle? And there...
די, אני לא יכול יותר, אני צריך... בוא נעשה עוד פעם, אני... זה עוזר ל-experience points power או משהו כזה, אני... אני נשבע לכם שזה בטח סור הרב מיסטיקה. 200% זה היחיד שלא השתמשתי. זה קצת מזכיר חרדל. טוב. בוא נכין עוד כריך חסה. הכריך שהביא לנו ליטרלי היום 3 שיינים ברבע שעה. גם הופיפ, גם אמונגס, וגם אהוב עליי מכולם, The Goat himself.
Christmas, sucker. All of a sudden, Turo is down to his final Pokemon, a Warp Drive boosted Iron Valiant. A Volt Switch does phenomenal damage and grants me a safe switch into Sweet Tova, who tanks a Spirit Ray. Tova now baits Poison Jab, which gives me one last safe switch into Riley. And then, with an Ice Punch, which hits the freaking freeze. Could find Houndour in Pokopath, but that means that Maverick is our second team member. He's a good boy. And this third doggo, Rockruff from West Province 1. A few Terra boosted embers are enough to a divisive question. According to Eevee's creator, Motofumi Fujiwara, Eevee is, quote, a fluffy cat or dog-like creature one would see in the country. So that's totally useless. Personally, I think that even though Eevee is obviously meant to be an amalgamation of all types of animals, it most...
מה זה ציני פאוור?
What's up YouTube, it's D here, friendly Pokemon. Want to make sure you have your Pokemon, and when he gives you about 90, you go click red pick flip, okay? It increases you make your level 2-3 sandwich if you have a lot of herbs and want to waste it, powerful too. But then you choose 20 minutes to get your time. This video, bye guys, peace.
System in this game is kind of bugged. It feels like it doesn't work properly.
This is not just any sandwich. This is a Pokemon sandwich. A 9-stack of juice.
You just make your sandwich like usual.
Now with these new recipes using burger ingredients as its base, you can use any 2 Herba Mystica and achieve the same results. Since these sandwiches stack up real high, be careful building them. Always turn off autosave and manually save before starting a picnic and using your prized Herba Mystica. Remember, you don't need the top bread of the sandwich, just go open face. Here's a recipe sheet to screenshot now. Best of luck out there, trainer. Shiny Pokemon hunting just got even better with these updated sandwich recipes. Did you know that you can make easier level 3 shiny sandwiches with
Egg power 3, actually tested. So I only just got around to doing harder rates and got exactly 2 Herba Mystica, which according to the sandwich simulator, give me egg power 3. Do you know that it doesn't tell you if the sandwich will fail? I did a quick test to go over the numbers for egg
אל תירגעו, אני אשיג עוד 4 מיסטיקה, אז... והנזלוק שלנו, הפויזן טייפ, הוא ימשיך מאוחר יותר, יש לי עוד כמה פרויקטים לעשות. יש לי גם את סייקרד גולד על הדרך. סייקרד גולד זה אולי אחת המטרות העיקריות שלי, אבל את זה אני אמשיך בזמן מה. או, הביצה! אני חושב שדריפי זה שם מספיק טוב, לא?
As he misses a stun spore. Another quick attack makes it look like it's a 3-hit KO, but this time I get hit with a stun spore and getting fully paralyzed the next turn. I decide it's time to swap out into Charizard. This does of course mean that I have to take out a one resistant Mega Drain, which isn't a problem whatsoever, and we can finish it off with a flamethrower, which means we beat Grizzly. Even then, very rudely slapped her on the block, not remembering that we have a battle schedule. She leads up with a Stoutland, which is a pretty good matchup for me leading off with Bertha. However, after realizing that I'm not quite doing half damage with acrobatics, I decide it's time to swap out using U-turn, and luckily this doesn't put Stoutland to the red, but as I swap in Wallace, of course I forget that I have the Rocky helmet, putting it in the red, which means she's gonna go for a full restore. I then go for a Water Bolt, but a Retaliate crits and hits me down to just 65 HP, as my next Water Bolt gets it down into healing range once again. I decide at this point that my best bet is to just switch into Broly and try to go for Force Ball, but it actually pours me out into Ice Ball. I decide to risk going for a Swords Dance, even if it goes for but it actually goes for Retaliating, doing pretty pitiful damage, as I can then take it out with acrobatics. Her next Pokemon is Cloyster, which is definitely my cue to use U-turn to not get absolutely destroyed by a quad-effective Aurora Beam, so I switch in Lucario, who fortunately has a special move in Aura Sphere to take out the Cloyster in one hit. I then have a quad-effective Volt Strike for the Swanna, and our final Pokemon is a Fione, which also gets one-shot by Volt Strike. With 3 of the Elite Four members down, it's time to face the final Elite Four member, Marshall, who usually has fighting types and fittingly starts out with a Poliwrath. I send in Bertha, but it turns out that the Poliwrath has Drizzle, but funny enough, it doesn't have any water-type moves, so after I hit it with an Acrobatics down into the red, it uses Dynamic Punch, and for a good minute, I was so confused why I didn't get, well, confused, until I remembered that Bertha has Shield Dust, which means she doesn't get affected by secondary effects and moves. After taking out Poliwrath, Marshall sends in his Hitmonchan, and not wanting to get hit by an Ice Punch, I go for a U-turn and swap out into the lane. Now I know an Acrobatics would probably have been enough to take it out, but I wanted to play it safe, and an Air Slash is enough to just take out the Hitmonchan anyway. At the end of the turn, my speed gets increased by Speed Boost as Marshall sends in his Kecleon with Airlock, which gets rid of the rain. I do end up having to take a Sucker Punch here, but I can fire off a Flamethrower at full force, and the next turn it's enough to take it out. This means Marshall is down to his final Pokemon, Simisear, and I decide to swap into Wallace to really utilize that Heat Group and take a Flame Burst. It then hits decided that I need to beat it in a battle first, which is gonna be tough since it's randomized into Rayquaza. And I opt to click Mirror Coat with Wallace as Rayquaza hits me with an Air Slash, and of course it gets the flinch. I then decide to swap out and go into Bertha as the Rayquaza goes for a second Air Slash, which does way more damage than I expected, so I have to swap out again. I do get a little bit of damage with U-turn as I swap into Brawly when the Rayquaza decides to lock itself into Outrage, which is perfect. It does just under half damage as I go for a Bolt Strike, which clearly does over half of Rayquaza's remaining health and gets the paralysis. I survive the second Outrage on just 12 HP and click Bolt Strike, but I miss. However, the Rayquaza gets paralyzed, which means the Brawly doesn't go down. The next turn, I do manage to connect with Bolt Strike, meaning that we defeat Rayquaza without losing a Pokemon. Now, unfortunately, we do have to capture it, but we don't have to add it to our team, so I can just add it to the box and proceed on to phase N. It's time we take on this shady botanist once and for all. And his Zekrom is very frighteningly randomized into a Giratina. I, of course, send in Wallace as he instantly goes for Shadow Force. I go for Mirror Coat hoping for a special move, but of course it fails, and the next turn it takes me down to about half health with a Shadow Force. My Waterfall does pathetic damage. I just didn't want to switch anything into that Shadow Force, but then I swap into Ramos to get an Intimidate off as it vanishes again. I go for Coil mostly to boost my defense as another Shadow Force doesn't do too much damage, and I can hit it with a Leech Seed the next turn. And since Giratina's legendary and has huge HP, we get so much HP back from Leech Seed every single turn. However, at this point, Aura Sphere is chipping me down to a low, so I decide to swap out into Iris. Dragonite is, of course, going to resist the Aura Sphere with its flying typing, and the next turn I can go for a Chatter, which takes it down into the red as I get hit by a Shadow Blow, which of course means that Ed uses a Aura Sphere. I then seize the opportunity to use an Impale Blow, and I go for one the next turn to get to +6 as well. Out of the randomized TMs I found, I got very few that were actually useful, but Dragonite can run a lot of them. However, even being at +6 special attack and using a Stab Chatter, it's not enough to take out the Giratina from where it was at. But together with the Leech Seed, it's going to be just enough, which means we now have a Dragonite at +6 special attack and +2 speed. And as you might imagine, even though M's team is randomized into a pretty formidable squad, this is going to tear through his entire lineup. But we're not at the finish line yet, since we still have one more opponent to face. The big boss himself, Gensis. The Master Botanist fittingly starts out the fight with a City Sage as I send in Wallace. And of course, being at a huge type disadvantage, I decide to swap out into Plane to take a Seed Bomb. The next turn, the monkey with the sick hairdo leers at me as I hit it with a Stab super effective flamethrower to end his career. This, of course, gives me a speed boost as Gensis sends in his next Pokemon, Cloyster. I decide to send in Brawly as Gensis just sets up a layer of spikes. Now, before the Rayquaza fight, I did get Brawly a Fighting Gem, which is going to mean that we can hit this thing with the overkill of the century as we get a critical hit as well. Against Miss Magius, I swap in Bertha to take an Astonish, but since Astonish seems like the only move that this Miss Magius wants to go for, it's very simple for me to just spam Acrobatics and take it out. Funny enough, Gensis' next Pokemon is a second City Sage. He just really loves that hairdo. But we got the perfect move to trim that thing down with Acrobatics. Amazingly, Gensis' second to last Pokemon is Genesect, and I don't know what could be more fitting, but I decide to use U-turn since I don't want to get a Dry Attack here and swap out into Plane. The incoming Dry Attack does end up doing quite a lot of damage, and it's unclear whether or not it's a 2-hit KO. I decide to stay in and find out, and the second Dry Attack leaves me at 21 HP and paralyzed, but I do break through with the quad-effective Flamethrower, taking out that bug. And after Life Orb, I had just enough HP for Charizard to survive as Gensis sends in his final Pokemon, Dusk Noir. To preserve Charizard, I swap into Ramos to get an Intimidate to lower this thing's attack, and Shadow Punch barely does anything. I then set up a Leech Seed to try and get some residual damage, and Hex does too much for me to stay in, so I swap into Wallace. And toxic spikes. Another Bone Rush is enough to take it out, but those spikes are really going to make my life difficult as he sends in Chandelure. Those spikes are now powering up its Hex, and it can use Flame Burst against any of my Steel types, so I immediately swap out into Wallace. And I guess we'll be putting that Heat-Proof ability to good use, taking a Flame Burst, but then next turn a Hex takes me down to just 12 HP as I go for Mud Shot, lowering it to toxic spikes. Another Bone Rush is enough to take it out, but those spikes are really going to make my life difficult as he sends in Chandelure. Those spikes are now powering up its Hex, and it can use Flame Burst against any of my Steel types, so I immediately swap out into Wallace. And I guess we'll be putting that Heat-Proof ability to good use, taking a Flame Burst, but then next turn a Hex takes me down to just 12 HP as I go for Mud Shot, lowering its speed, which is just enough to survive the poison damage. At this point, since any move can take me out, it's going to be random whether it goes for Flame Burst or Hex, so I decide to swap in Lane in case it goes for Flame Burst, which it does. That would also 100% one-shot my Lucario, which is the only way I'm going to be able to take this thing out with a Power Gem. Getting both Toxic Spikes and Hex on a randomized team is actually pretty impressive, but we at least claim our third badge. And as I make my way over to Room 4, I find my next encounter, my favorite starter of all time. It's Charmander. And it even has one of the best abilities in the game in Speed Boost, so of course I capture it and name it Blaine. And after just one level of training, it evolves into Charmander. I even get lucky enough to find a TM for Flamethrower in the Desert Resort, which means there's no reason to not evolve Vulpix into Ninetales. The Life Orb is also a pretty sweet pickup. Now as soon as I reach the boss on a big Universe top model, I of course...
Alright, so it's December 24th, and what better Pokemon to do a solo playthrough with than Delibird? It's basically the Santa Pokemon, so the present I'm giving you today is this video, and the present it's giving me is its Gen 3 move pool, which is probably the smallest one I have ever seen. It starts with present, and then it learns no new moves through level up. Through TMs and HMs, it gets access to Focus Punch, Water Pulse, Toxic Hail, Hidden Power, Ice Beam, Blizzard, Protect, Rain Dance, Frustration. I feel like that's going to be the theme of this run. Return, Double Team, Aerial Ace, Facade, Secret Power, Rest, Attract, Thief, and Fly. That is the first time that I have ever read all of the moves that the Pokemon can learn. It's really nice that it gets access to same type attack bonus moves for both of its types. However, they're going to come late in the playthrough. Ice Beam and Fly both after the 5th gym, and then Aerial Ace after the 6th gym. And now that we're talking about gyms, let's just reflect on the fact that the first gym leader... rules for this. Now in all of my videos I allow myself to manipulate moves for this playthrough, or that I can only use my starter. No items in battle except held items, no glitches or exploits, and no TM32, which is double team until level 100. Now in all of my videos I allow myself to manipulate my starter so that the comparisons at the end of the video between multiple Pokemon are all fair. What this means is that I can choose the type of my hidden power, I can set my nature, and I can also choose my ability, which leads me to a bit of a conundrum. I have a choice between Hustle and Vital Spirit. Hustle increases the user's attack stat by 50%, but lowers the accuracy of the user's physical moves by 20%. Special moves and status moves are unaffected by this ability. So that really doesn't seem like a good option, because Present, the only move that I have access to until quite late into the game, only has 90% accuracy. So if Hustle reduces its accuracy by 20%, it's only going to have 70% accuracy, which is the same as a move like Blizzard. I personally think that that's just an unacceptable trade-off to make this early on in the game, so I'm going to have to go with Vital Spirit. This ability prevents Pokemon from being afflicted by Sleep and Yawn. Also, it causes Rest to fail, so remember Delibird's move pool, which is very limited? Yeah, it just lost one of its moves because I have to use Vital Spirit. Now luckily for me, I think that its nature is a lot easier to pick. Today I'll be using a Rash nature, which raises its special attack and lowers its special defense. I really don't want to lower my physical defense just because Roxanne and then later on Steven. And Delibird needs the most help it can get, so I think by raising its special attack stat, which is already its highest stat, it's going to make Ice Beam hit just that much harder later on in the game. With all that out of the way, let's talk about the move Present. By the way, before Iron Bundle was introduced, Delibird was the only Pokemon that could learn this move. So here's how it works. Present can either deal damage to the target or heal the target. So if Present deals damage, it actually has a variable base power. It has a 40% chance to be a 40 base power move, a 30% chance to be an 80 base power move, and only a 10% chance to be a 120 base power move. However, it also has a 20% chance to heal the target by 1/4, so yeah, it's going to be kind of painful using this thing. Of course, I mentioned this before, but Present only has a 90% accuracy, and it also only has 15 PP. So this move is terribly inconsistent. As a result, I think the best strategy is just to deplete Present's PP and use Struggle instead. In Generation 3, this move utilizes the attack stat, it does typeless damage, and it has a power of 50. So overall, it's just a little bit better than Present's worst damage, but it is much more consistent because it has 100% accuracy, and it also can't heal the opponent. I really just can't believe that Present heals the opponent. It's so strange. Now in the early game, I decide to face all of the optional trainers, as well as knocking out all wild Pokemon that I come across. And that's because I need to do the best I can to prepare for Roxanne. When I first arrive at her, Delibird is level 16, so let's see how this goes. She leads with Geodude. I'm using Struggle here because it's typeless. It does, about 1/4. Okay, at least Rock Tomb missed. I take the Geodude down to half health, and then this time it hits Rock Tomb, and yeah, okay, so that knocked me out in one hit.
זה clear body, clear body, clear body, clear body, Infinerator לא, clear body. אוקיי, סטאצ, אוקיי. רילקסט, הרדי, רילקסט. בוא'נה, אנחנו כולם יצא רילקסט פה. אפילו אחד לא טוב. נראה לי ג'ולי זה אולי הנייצ'ר הכי טוב לדרגפולט שאני מכיר, כי הוא פיזיקל מאוד מהיר. כבר עשינו 4 נגלות, נשארו עוד 6 או 3 נגלות. עשינו 4. אז נשארו לנו עוד 7 8 אפילו. רגע, אז אם יש 6 כפול 5, אז יש לנו 30, היו לנו 60 בהתחלה.
I backtrack and fight this guy with some Magikarps to get a little bit more experience. And with him out of the way, I now have to train in the wild. One nice thing is that Delibird has a fast growth rate, so at least I'm going to be gaining levels at a decent pace. Let's be fair though, I don't know what level I'm going to need to defeat Roxanne. I guess the next one that makes the most sense to try is level 20. Like there's no way I'm going to do it at level 18, but maybe over 2 damage rounding thresholds I'll be doing enough damage to knock at least the Geodudes out. Now that I think about it, even level 20 seems too low. Still, I will try at that level just in case. So one thing about the early game is the fact that I want to really conserve my healing items. After all, if I want to use Struggle later on to defeat Roxanne, I'm going to need to be able to heal before I go into that battle. So in this case, when I'm training in the wild, I actually am going to go back to the Pokemon Center over and over and heal so that I can use Present to knock the opponents out. That way I don't have to waste any of my potions here, and I can save them for Roxanne. At level 20, I try to take her on again. I accidentally heal here, so I'm using Present. It does like almost no damage, and then Rock Tomb takes me to Orange in one hit, so yeah, there's going to be no way to defeat her at this level. I definitely just need to keep leveling up. And here's a small advantage that Pokemon who have to train for Roxanne, especially in this grass, have. Abra can show up here, and if I catch one, then I can use Teleport to say Specifically, I can teleport back to the Pokemon Center every time I have to heal, and I can skip some backtracking by using this ability later on. Granted, I actually have to catch an Abra for this to work. I'm sure I'll get one eventually though, because Delibird is going to be here for quite some time. By the way, when I ran out of PP, I did head back and attempt Roxanne again at level 20, seeing if Struggle would be enough, and no, Struggle is not going to be enough. While I'm training, I finally catch myself an Abra, so this is perfect, because now once Delibird gets to low health, I can use it to teleport back to the Pokemon Center, saving myself a little bit of walking time. I'm just taking all the small victories that I can get right now, because, yeah, this is taking a while. It's going to be more than half an hour before I meet my first gym leader. Right now, it might be fun for everyone to make a comment and predict what level I'm going to need to defeat Roxanne. With how things are going to this point, I'm thinking something like level 30, but I will try before that just in case. However, I think level 23 is too low, so let's try her again at level 25. Now Struggle is doing about half to the Geodude. It hits with Rock Throw, which doesn't do half to Delibird, and then I knock it out. Okay, so I actually got by her first Pokemon. That is the first time that I did it. I heal with an Oran Berry, and then I go for Struggle again. Rock Tomb hits, taking Delibird down to 16 hit points, and then I knock out her second Geodude. Okay, so I actually made it to the Nose Pass. The problem is I don't have enough health to knock this thing out with Struggle, and that's even if I could survive one of its hits. So that's my fourth reset. So I'll face her at the next damage rounding threshold. If you don't know what damage rounding is by this point, you should really go back and watch a lot of the other videos that I've released in December. I have explained this mechanic so many times. So now the Delibird is level 28, let's see how this fight is going. Still not looking particularly good. I am able to get by the second Geodude, but I still only have a small amount of HP left over for the Nose Pass. And then it misses Rock Tomb. I was like, oh no, is that going to be the path to victory? Is this thing just going to miss enough? But no, it knocks me out on the next turn. However, here's the thing. What if one of the Geodude misses its Rock type move? Then I might be able to get through the initial portions of the fight with enough HP left over to knock the Nose Pass out. And then I also realized the fact that the Geodudes can use Defense Curl. The next fight plays out in the same way though, so that's another loss. And I'll just spoil the result of the next fight, because it is going to be exactly the same. But I do want to take a moment here to just talk about how I was feeling while I was playing this, because I was getting frustrated. It has almost been 45 minutes, and I have not beat Roxanne. And Delibird is level 28. I'm sure that as soon as I get by her, the next portion of the game is going to be extremely easy. So I dug in here and I was just like, no, I am going to try this again. I am going to beat Roxanne at level 28. And then in the very next fight, Geodude misses its Rock Tomb, and I'm able to knock it out only taking damage from Struggle. Okay, that is perfect. It's time for the second Geodude. Unfortunately, this one hits its Rock Tomb and Delibird eats its Oran Berry before I knock it out. Okay, but I have made it to the Nose Pass with about half health. Will this be enough? Well, if it isn't, I think I should just go and train again. I go for Struggle, it does about a third. Nose Pass uses Rock Tomb, and it misses. Perfect. And then my next Struggle gets a critical hit, knocking Nose Pass out. Alright, so I've done it. I am gonna celebrate. Despite how lucky that was, we are moving on to the rest of the game. Now, unless I give a present to the opponent's Pokemon, I am going to knock everything out in one hit now. I take out the Poochyena, free Pico, then I face May. After all, I might as well face her. I'm just going to get free experience from these fights. And I think that I should continue training, just because this Pokemon is not very good. And also, if you really think about it, Brawly is next. All of his fighting type moves are neutrally effective against me because of my typing. And then after that, we have Watson, who is an electric type specialist, and yeah, I am weak to his Pokemon as well. Then, once we get by him, I have to face Flannery, and I am once again weak to her fire types. Honestly, Norman is sort of going to be a breath of fresh air in this playthrough. On Newford Island, I pick up the Silk Scarf. This item gives a 10% boost to normal type moves, so yes, it can boost the power of Present. I was actually really curious here because Struggle is categorized as a normal type move, despite dealing typeless damage. So I actually have a question for all of you now, which is, does the Silk Scarf boost the damage of Struggle? It is categorized as a normal type move, despite dealing typeless damage. I tried to research it, but I couldn't find an answer, so maybe one of you knows. But hopefully from this point, I won't have to use Struggle anymore anyways. Next, I deliver the letter to Steven. I get the TM for Steel Wing, which obviously Delibird can't learn. And now it's time to see if I can defeat Brawly. His first Delibird hits it with Present, but Present causes it to heal. Is the Meditite able to use Focus Punch? Well, in this case, we don't get a chance
result because it's just knocking out with a single hit. Let me know in the comments. All that's left now is the Makuhita. I go for present, it takes it down to red health. Makuhita strikes back with Vital Throw, but I'm so overleveled at this point, and it only does neutral damage, so I take very little. Makuhita heals with a Citrus Berry, and then I knock it out on the next turn. Alright, the second gym was nowhere near as tough as the first one. I almost forgot to catch myself a Magikarp, so I do that now. I name it Bruno, of course. After that, I head to Slateport Beach, and here I fight all the trainers. By the way, Delibird is level 29 now, and for Watson in the past, I've needed Pokemon to be between like 35 and 38. So I think that I'm gonna need to train more before I defeat him. I'll just make a quick note here, inside of this place where the guy sells soda pops, if you defeat all the trainers and talk to him, he actually gives you some free ones, which is really nice. After that, I defeat the Team Aqua Grunts inside of the museum, and this is so important, because on the first floor, this one Aqua Grunt gets left behind, and if you talk to him, he will give you TM46, which is Thief. And yes, this is the first new move that Delibird can learn. Of course, in Generation 3, all Dark-type moves are special moves, so this is perfect because it's the first move that I can actually utilize Delibird's special attack stat with. However, you'll probably notice that Delibird's attack stat's actually pretty good right now, and that's because Roxanne's badge boosted it by 10%. Well, I guess it's good that I can just use a move that does damage and doesn't have the chance to heal the opponent, so I'll take it for now. On the next route, I have to face May. She leads with a Wingull, Present knocks it out in one hit. Perfect. Buskin's next. Present tries to heal it here. Just doesn't do anything. Buskin uses Focus Energy, making it easier to get critical hits. I try for Present again. Once again, tries to heal the chicken. Come on. Goes for Ember, luckily not getting a critical hit. And then my third Present finally knocks it out. Alright, I think I've done this. I finish off the Lombre in a single hit, and now I've made it to Mauville City. I finish Wally off, and then I train against all of the trainers in the surrounding areas. This brings Delibird up to level 36, and it actually positions it perfectly so that it can pick up the black glasses on Route 116. I'll direct your eyes now to the top left of the screen. Yes, we are over an hour of playtime already. If this was a Generation 1 game, I would probably be done by now. If this was a Generation 2 game, I would be approaching the League. And for most other Pokemon in Hoenn, I would be at least at Flannery. What I'm really hoping here with Delibird is that the first part of the game is much harder, and then once I get access to moves like Fly and Ice Beam, the things are going to get much easier from there. Well, with all the gym trainers defeated, let's take on Watson now.
יש לי רק אוקיי. יש לי סטטים גרועים על כולם. אוקיי, אתה הייסטי. יש לו נייצ'ר מאוד טוב. הייסטי זה מאוד טוב כנייצ'ר.
And then Watson chooses to send Manectric in. Why didn't he send in the Magneton? I'm so confused. I go for Present, it obviously rolls the worst amount of damage, doing about a quarter to the enemy, and then it paralyzes me with Thunder Wave. My Cherry Berry heals it, and then I get an interesting idea. If I use Thief now, I will actually steal the Manectric Citrus Berry. I pull it off, get paralyzed in the process, and then the Manectric strikes back with Shockwave, which takes Delibird into the red. Alright, this is not gonna go well. Luckily the Citrus Berry allows me to heal, but still Watson uses a Super Potion and that's too much. Let's try that again. After all, Present can do better, it just refuses to though. At the start of this fight, only doing half the Voltorb. I get hit by Shockwave, taking me down to, well, nice health. I knock Watson's lead out on the next turn, he sends in Electrike. Once again, Present doesn't knock it out. Alright, fine. He sends in Manectric next. I go for Present, it doesn't split in half. Delibird gets paralyzed. Manectric eats its Citrus Berry, and because I'm playing on 4x speed, I was going a little bit too fast, so I used Thief reactively here, but yeah, I'm not going to steal any items. And then, just to spite me, Present heals the Manectric, and yeah, it knocks Delibird out with Shockwave. Okay, please don't say I need to level up more for this fight, let's try again. This time, Present one-shots the Voltorb, it doesn't on the Electrike, and then it misses. I take a Shockwave to under half, so yeah, this is another loss. I was feeling a little bit stubborn at this point, so I tried again, but nope. Not work out, and once again Delibird faints. So with all the trainers in the surrounding region defeated, now I have to train against wild Pokemon, and that means my leveling up has really slowed down. Still, I'm not going to train for that long because I'd like to reattempt this fight at level 38. After all, that is above the next damage rounding threshold. The problem is, even with a little bit more damage, Present is still just extremely inconsistent, and I'm not able to make it by the Manectric. So I have not once gone up against Watson's Magneton. Let's just level up to level 40 and try again. As you can see, the time on the clock is really starting to stack up now, but maybe I'm gonna get by Watson now because I one-shot the Manectric, so I made it to the Magneton. I go for
case, that means that it just gets a chance to use Shockwave again, and it gets a critical hit, knocking Delibird out. So because I felt like I got pretty close in that fight, I continued to try again, and again, and again. Actually, it continues to go. I try a total of 7 more times against Watson, and all of them end in defeat. Okay, so the only option here is to continue to level up. During the training, I figured out that I forgot to face the wind straits, so I might as well take care of them now for a little bit more experience. After all, trainer Pokemon give more experience than wild. After defeating them, Delibird's still only level 41, so I trained in the wild for around 4 minutes, and that levels me up to level 43 over the next damage rounding threshold. Alright, let's try Watson again. I one-shot the Voltorb, one-shot the Electrike. Okay, this is going well. Next is Manectric. I go for Present. It takes it down to orange health. Delibird consumes its Cherry Berry. I go for Present again, but it doesn't knock it out. Watson uses a Super Potion. I don't knock it out again. He uses another Super Potion, and then Watson chooses to...
Personally, I think that even though you have to kill the dogs maybe, I find it crowded. But by initiating a battle, I think that this kid is densely enough to see your grass as his team. But even when Block is able to come in and utilize attacking turns, Tova also has game abilities. So eventually, I find myself in a position where Maverick is able to come in on the Trailblaze, survive a -3 rock throw, and then finish off Snow. I truly did not deserve to get that like Deathlands. I had the risk of so many critical hits. Just look at the aftermath of this fight. In hindsight, I should have just taken the Flash Fire route, but I got greedy. It's a valuable reminder that succumbing to one's greed is a surefire way to, oh my gosh, look at how cute Henry is when he's swimming. Look at his whale paws in the water. He's so freaking and successfully evolved right into it. Wait, what was I saying? That probably wasn't important. It's time for another fluffy friend. In South Province Area 4, I catch a Riolu named after Ryan Shepson. She would have been useful in the Gracias, but I wasn't confident if I could evolve her while staying under the level cap. After Henry redeems himself by blasting the Titan Ball Rainier out of the sky with an Electro Ball, the level cap is high enough that I can successfully evolve Riley into a powerful Wario. Among other very strong moves, Riley attacks at a few more hits than I was expecting because Giacomo's lacking a wild Terra type Growlithe, and he's Province Area 2. She still doesn't have Intimidate, but a ground Terra type is great, so Jules joins the team. All these mobs are just so cute. As we go to face Iono, Jules has evolved into Arcanine with the Fire Sword. Because she's a stone evolution, she gets access to a bunch of moves right off the bat, including Flamethrower, which she uses to torch Iono's Wattrel. Honestly, it feels big. The Wattrel never stood a chance. Bellicolt is a little more resistant to our Flamethrowers, so after getting into the red, I switch to Henry. We Terrastalize on the following turn before killing Iono's rocky friend with a Hyper Voice. Luxio comes in next and does survive a Hyper Voice, only to get Henry back to full HP with a sword thanks to Phantom Sword. Dogs rule, pets. Snaggius is last, but she can't even hit Henry when he's Terrastalized into a normal type. Her only attacking moves are Hex and Charge Beam. She can still go for Confuse Ray, but all it takes is connecting twice for Snaggius to go down, and we've won the 3rd gym badge. By the time we get to the 2nd star boss, Mela, Mabel has evolved into Lightning Rock, but that's not really particularly relevant for this fight. Turns out that Flash Fire on Jules isn't half bad, since it means we're immune to the Star Pokemon's strongest moves. We just slowly whittle away at Mela's Ace with Dig, all the while staying healthy with leftovers. There's really not much you can do, and after you've heard from one with they have an easy. This means that it's so it's off to Tova on a liquidation that annoyingly gets the defense drop. But even so, we're safe to take another liquidation and finish her off with 2 crunches. That means that Glamora is last, but Tova the fairy type made Sludge Wave, so I can safely switch to Riley, who's immune. And then, Aurasphere bobs Glamora for a clean one-shot, winning us the title of champion without even breaking a sweat. Next on the chopping block are Arvin and Penny, who both have a level cap of 63. Arvin is the harder of the two because a few of his Pokemon have strong ground type moves. He leads with Brand, and I lead with Riley. Guess what? He kills the Kohog native with an Aurasphere. Scovillain comes in next, which grants me a safe switch into Jules on a Fire Blast. Using that Flash Fire boost, we kill Scovillain with a Flamethrower on the following turn. Who would have thought that Flash Fire Arcanine was actually good? Organical is next though, and this is easily Arvin's scariest Pokemon. Anticipating a Stone Edge, I switched to Riley, and thankfully my prediction is correct. An Earthquake there would have been really bad. Stone Edge always does more damage thanks to Stab, but the AI is weird sometimes. With Riley out, she's free to bop the Minecraft golem with an aura sphere. That leaves Arvin with just 3 Pokemon left. Toad Squirrel is next, but since she has pretty mediocre physical defense, a Terra boost in close combat is enough for the one-shot. Cloyster comes in 5th, but obviously goes down to another aura sphere. So last is Mabosstiff, and I feel kinda bad about one-shotting this one, since he was on the brink of death like 2 days ago. But Arvin is kind of a bad pet owner for immediately putting Mabosstiff back into the line of fire. I guess that's a bit pot calling the kettle black though, since I've been participating in literal dogfighting for this entire playthrough. At least none of my dogs have died yet, and it's starting to look like there's a real possibility that we can finish this run deathless. Penny and her evolutions are next. Since a few of my Pokemon leveled up to level 64 in the fight against Arvin, I boxed them for this fight. Leo's my lead against her Umbreon, and she's able to take him out with a Moonblast and a Draining Kiss without ultimately taking any damage. Flareon comes in next, and at this point, you should know exactly what to expect when it comes to facing off against the Fire type. Flareon just spams Baby Doll Eyes as Jules whittles away with extreme speed. It ultimately takes 4 hits to finish him off, but then Vaporeon is out next, so I switch to Henry, though Mastermind Hacker Penny gives me the safe switch by going for Baby Doll Eyes, so I can safely stay in and hit her slipping up with a Thunderbolt as he retaliates with a crit from Hydro Ball. Then a full switch takes out Vaporeon, and gives me a free switch into Jules as Penny's Jolteon comes out. A switch back to Henry on the Thunder activates Sword, and then we take out our mirror match with a few Hyper Voices. Leafeon, my favorite evolution, is fit for Penny. Look at what you took away from the Twitch chat. Jules is able to easily put him on a leaf blade and cook her like a Christmas ham with a flamethrower. That means that Penny's left with just her Sylveon, so it's time for another mirror match. Is this objectively the best play? Never Silly would be able to handle this much faster. But how often do you get to experience a terrestrialization mirror match? We're definitely stronger, and we have leftovers. Funny enough, we both get special attack drops from the blast, but as you might have guessed, a few turns later, Leo is victorious, and we've won the final battle of the Starfall Street storyline. There's just 2 more fights left between my puppies and Glory. First up is Nimona. I've skipped all the fights against her until now, but this one is much harder than the others. She leads with Lycanroc, and with the new level cap of 66, Riley is back in the rotation. With a Choice Scarf, she outspeeds Lycanroc and kills her with a single Aura Sphere. That brings in Palmot with close combat next, so it's off to J-Man. A Dull Shock does nasty damage as we retaliate with a Play Rough that isn't enough for the one-shot, but that's fine because I actually want to kill this rodent with Tova. I switch to Grimlock for an Intimidate as Palmot goes for an Ice Punch. Then it's off to Tova on a weak close combat. Palmot outspeeds and hits Tova with an Ice Punch, which gets the freaking freeze. I swear, if one of my dogs dies because of a 10% freeze, I'm gonna lose my mind. Fortunately, Tova wakes up on the following turn, so crisis averted. With Tova out, this baits in Orthworm with Iron Tail, granting me a fairly safe switch back into Riley. She then does what should be expected at this point. Aura Sphere takes out Wiggler's love child, bringing in Dunsparce's 4th. This thing is pretty scary, so in order to ensure the kill, I Terrastalize before taking him down with another Aura Sphere. But that brings in Goodra next, and based on my team selection, I gotta do something a little risky. First I switched to Tova on a Dragon Pulse, but now we're in a tough position. Because I Terrastalized Riley, I can't Terrastalize here, so Tova probably doesn't kill Goodra in one shot. She also doesn't get access to Fairy-type Terra Blast anymore, so there's a 10% chance to miss Play Rough. In retaliation, Goodra has super effective Sludge Bombs. A crit will kill, as will a high roll into Poison. Leo the Sylveon would be a much better answer in this situation, but there's not much else I can do here except pray that Tova can hold on. So I go for a Play Rough, which does connect, but misses out on the KO. Goodra then goes for Sludge
Great, pretty good, very good attack, pretty good display.
Tova survives. A 30% chance to poison would have been the end of sweet little Tova. That was lucky. Nimona's final Pokemon, Meowscarada, is normally her scariest Pokemon, but even with a critical hit Terra-boosted Flower Trick, Jules doesn't take all that much damage. It's kind of funny that Nimona says she clinched that crit through sheer determination to win, given that Flower Trick is guaranteed to crit, though it's obviously not enough, and Meowscarada falls to a Flamethrower, winning us the final rival fight of the game. Which means that it's all come down to this last fight. One last fight between me and a deathless run using Pokemon named after other people's pets. The stakes are not at all lost on me. It's time to win this challenge deathless once and for all. AI Turo leads with Iron Moth, and it's finally Maple the Lycanroc's chance to shine. A 4-time super effective Stomping Tantrum one-shots Turo's futuristic Moth, giving us an early lead. That lead grows even larger as Iron Thorns, baited by a super effective Earthquake, comes in second, and also goes down to a quad effective Stomping Tantrum. That means that third is Iron Hands, easily one of Turo's most imposing Pokemon. A switch to J-Mat on a free Drain Punch puts us in a good position to hit Iron Hands with a fairly strong dig. But then Iron Hands crits with a nasty Thunder Punch, meaning that a second one will likely kill J-Mat even after Leftover's recovery. But if Alturo is going to be cheeky with a crit, we can be even cheekier by switching to Henry, who's immune to Iron Hands' electric-type attacks. We can also nail them with a Volt Switch for some damage, and bring in J-Mat on a Drain Punch. And then we rinse and repeat until Iron Hands is low enough to go down to a Thunderbolt. That brings in Iron Jungle Gym next, who promptly falls to a super effective Thunderbolt. And then guess what happens to AI Turo's 5th Pokemon, Iron Bundle? Merry Christmas, sucker! All of a sudden, Turo is down to his final Pokemon, a Port Dry boosted Iron Valiant. A Volt Switch does phenomenal damage and grants me a safe switch into Sweet Tova, who takes a Spirit Brain. Tova now baits Poison Jab, which gives me one last safe switch into Riley. And then, with a Psychic, we take out Turo's Metallic Ace, winning us the battle, saving all of Paldea, and defeating the Puppy Lock of Pokemon Violet completely deathless. This was definitely my favorite playthrough of Paldea so far. It was a lot of fun getting to use such a diverse selection of Pokemon, and I'm so grateful that so many people submitted their dogs for this challenge. It feels good to wrap it up without causing any emotional scars. Should I try with cats in the next video? Let me know in the comments down below. And if you enjoyed watching this video, it'd be great if you could like the video and subscribe to the channel. Or don't, I don't know. But I do know that you should follow me on Twitter and Twitch to keep up with streams of my future challenges. You should also subscribe to my highlights channel to get highlights of the challenge I'm currently streaming before it's cut down to a video on the main channel. And if you want your pet to be featured in a future Nuzlocke, consider subscribing to my new Patreon, which also comes with access to bonus content and early video access. The links to everything are in the description below. Stay tuned for more Nuzlocke videos, and until then, remember to always, always, always play around the critical hit.
Potion, they don't knock it out again, he uses another super potion, and then Watson chooses to switch it out and send in the Magneton. Okay, I am feeling good about this one, let's do it. He goes for Sonic Boom, which is a strange first choice. Then my second present heals it. Ah, you gotta be kidding me. It misses Supersonic, and from here, things actually go in my favor, and I do manage to take the Magneton down. But Watson still has his Manectric left, and while it has only a tiny bit of health left over, it comes out and just goes for a quick attack, finishing Delibird off. I tried again, this time Magneton defeats me, and then in the next fight, I got so unlucky with Present that the Voltorb took me down to red health. And then by the time the Manectric comes out, it just finishes me off. So I was being stubborn here, I kept trying. I lose a total of 3 more times before I finally decide to go and train up more to level 45. Coming into this challenge, I really thought that Roxanne was going to be the hardest of the first 4 gym leaders because I thought that the over-leveling I would need to do there would make the other ones easier. But Watson is really proving me wrong. He is definitely the biggest challenge yet. While I was doing all of this training and fighting Watson over and over again, I kept trying to think what other options I might have available to me. But none of the other TMs or HMs that Delibird can learn are available yet. For instance, I have to have Watson's badge to use Rock Smash to get Hidden Power or Secret Power. And then all of the other ones are unlocked up even later in the game. Yes, Focus Punch is available on Route 115, but it requires Surf, so even that's not an option. As you've been seeing right now, even level 45 doesn't make this fight good, and at this point, I just decided that I was going to beat Watson at this level. Leveling up more does slightly improve my damage ranges, but the thing that I think I'm really facing here is just how inconsistent Present is. In the cases that it rolls 80 or 120 damage, it is doing good work. So I just need to wait for the moment where all of the stars align and Present does what it needs to do on every one of his Pokemon. I lost 2 more times, and now I should explain that I've realized that Thief is one-hitting both the Voltorb and the Electric, so that is making me more consistent here. I use Present against the Manectric, and it knocks it out in 1 hit, so I've arrived at the Magneton with full health, and I still have my Cherry Berry. I go for Present, it does decent damage, a little bit more than a third. Magneton uses Thunder Wave, so I consume my berry. I switch to Thief so I don't do too much damage to it. After all, I do not want Watson to use a Super Potion. Magneton paralyzes me, moves first with Sonic Boom. Alright, there it goes again. And then I use Present, which finally knocks it out. At 1 hour, 34 minutes and 54 seconds with 28 resets, Delibird has finally defeated Watson and earned itself the 3rd badge. This one gives me a 10% boost to my speed stat, but more importantly, I'm going to have access to more parts of the map, and with them comes more TMs and HMs. First, I catch myself an HM friend in the form of Meryl, and then I get access to Secret Power. I teach it to Delibird right away, because this is going to be a much better normal type move to use than Present. After that, I backtrack to Slateport City, and here I can visit the TM shop to buy Hidden Power. And for this run, I have chosen Hidden Power Electric. It gives Delibird an option against the plentiful water types in the region, and is also going to be very effective against Wallace at the end of the Elite Four. After all, I didn't think that defeating him with Ice Beam and Fly was going to be the winning strategy for Delibird. I take a gondola ride, there's no hiker here today, and then I face Maxie. Another reason that Hidden Power Electric is really helpful is because it's a special move, so Delibird can utilize its high special attack stat now. I knock the Mighty Anna out in 1 hit, next is Camerupt, it's a ground type, so I'm going to have to use Secret Power here. It only takes 2 turns to knock it out, and all that's left is Zubat. Hidden Power zaps it out of the skies, and with that, I have made it to Flannery.
Dreepy!
Going into this fight, I was just hoping that all of my overleveling for Watson would allow me to get through here in a single attempt. Secret
לא
Power...
נראה לי אנחנו נקבל היום את השייני, אבל זה בסדר.
Camerupt next. Secret Power does more than half. It goes for Tackle. Why did you use Tackle? I knock it out on the next turn. Slugma comes in. I go for Hidden Power Electric against it because it will do more damage. I knock it out, and all that's left is the Torkoal. I do more than half to it, and then it goes for Overheat, which knocks
האם
out
הבאונס
a
פרוט
single
שהולכת
hit.
מאחרון יקבל את
guess what the
המזל?
strategy is?
האם הבאונס
Well,
פרוט
we
שהולכת
just wait
מאחרון
for the
תביא את המזל?
miss with Overheat, or it can just use Body Slam, which is a very strange choice considering I'm an Ice type. And then on the next turn, I knock it out with Hidden Power Electric, and I've earned myself the 4th badge. I backtrack through the middle of the map, obtaining strength on my way, and then I head to Norman's gym. It's really starting to feel like things are speeding up, which is great because we're going to be reaching the 2-hour mark very soon. I get through Norman's first 3 Pokemon with them doing about half damage to me before I reach the Slacking. And here the game teaches me a lesson. I go for Hidden Power Electric, which gets a critical hit. Alright, I'm going to knock it out on the next turn. Slacking uses Counter, and it actually works, knocking Delibird out in a single hit. So here's how Counter is supposed to work. It is supposed to deal damage back to the opponent when the user was hit by a physical move. However, it does also counter Hidden Power regardless of its type. I honestly had no idea about that, so I thought it was safe. So I'm not safe using Hidden Power against the Slacking. Instead, I open with Thief. Then on the turn it's loafing around, I go for Hidden Power, taking it down to red. I try to go for the KO with Hidden Power. Norman heals it with a Hyper Potion. I do about a third. And because the item use replaces Slacking's turn, now I can just go for 2 follow-up Hidden Powers and knock it out. So Delibird has...
מה זה גם מראה שיקויים?
כן.
מה זה שיקויים לפוקימון?
לא, הוא עושה איזה סולו רן.
That's all the 5th
גיא,
badge.
ספוח לך את הדלת. אנחנו אני בהגרלה, אתה בהגרלה, וכל זה אנחנו בדרך נחכה ואמשיך לספור את הדקות ואת השעות עד שייתן לנו שייני דריפי ו... אין שום הגרלה. שרה לי אג.
Boost to its defense stat. But the real prize from this fight is the fact that now I can use Surf. With it, I can visit Power against the Slacking bird, and because the item use replaces Slacking's turn, now I can just go for 2 follow-up Hidden Powers and knock it out. So Delibird has so good to have it now, especially because the next major battle coming up is going to be Winona. Before I get to her, I have to defeat May, and this fight is very easy. After that, I clear out the Kecleon, head into Winona's gym, defeat some easy trainers in here, and with that, I'm ready to take the Flying Master on. Of all of the battles in this playthrough, this one is going to be easy. Ice Beam one-shots the Swablu, Ice Beam one-shots the Skarmory, Ice Beam one-shots the Tropius, the Pelipper, of course, uses Protect, does not get one-shot, but then my follow-up Ice Beam one-shots it. Yeah, I probably should have used Hidden Power Electric there, but whatever. That leads to her Ace Altaria, but Ice Beam does 4 times damage to it, and with that, Delibird has taken an easy victory. Alright, that feels so good. I defeat Team Aqua on Mount Pyre, then I teach Delibird to fly in the...
או לביצים של דריפי, אלוהים ישמור. אלוהים ישמור על...
After that, I catch myself a Zigzagoon. I did not do this earlier on. I need it so that I can use Cut to go into the Trickmaster's house and grab a rare candy. I also grab this rare candy south of Mount Pyre, and then I go to Fall Over Town and pick up the TM. Well, I would have if I had remembered to pick up the meteorite after defeating Maxie. What's a little backtrack? Anyways, after all, this playthrough is taking quite a while. All the major trainers that come up next are no issue for Delibird, mostly because it's overload. I defeat Maxie, then I defeat Nap. And with all of that out of the way, I have now reached the toughest gym leaders in the game. It's time to take on Team Nuzlocke. I have a few ways to use it. I'm going to be able to make like over against statues that doesn't set up, and I take it up and that's also going to be able to use basically so that takes up my magic. See the discrepancy
comes in, saves the day,
I'm-
and now it's time to face
הם לא פוקימונים האלה.
For Daily Bird, this is pretty easy. In power, just one shot the ball is to make a mistake. Accidentally use it on the next piece of cash. It takes a while to knock this thing out. I do freeze it, so that's nice. After that, Celio and the Groudon are both 1 hits, leading to the King Group. I really should have used Ice Beam here, but hidden power gets the job done over 3 turns anyway. So before the league, there's only one more trainer that I need to defeat in this pool. And luckily for Daily Bird, his Magneton is not nearly as scary as Watson's, so I make it through his team, and now it's time to take on the Elite Four. Let's do this. Because Daily Bird's moveset is so small, I think this is kind of its final form. Ice Beam, Hidden Power, Return, and Fly. Luckily for me, against Sydney, Ice Beam is perfect. It actually one-shots all of his team members except the Groudon. It survives doing just under half, and then I knock it out. So let's move on to Baby. Against her first Dusclops, things are really annoying. It uses Protect, which means pressure drains a lot of my PP. Then she uses a Restore on it. I hit myself in Confusion. Not once, but twice. And as a result, I'm going into the rest of the fight with only 4 HP left over. Ice Beam does one-hit the next Bayonet, but now it's time to defeat her Ace Dusclops. And here I learned something that I didn't know. It has Rock Slide, which obviously does enough to KO. Here's the thing about that fight though. I just lost because I got really unlucky with Confusion. I think I should be able to make it to the second Dusclops with better health if I just don't hit myself in Confusion. In the next fight, it doesn't happen. I make it to the Dusclops, use Ice Beam, and get a lucky critical hit. Perfect. The next Bayonet on her team causes some issues because of a full restore, but still I'm able to make it to the Sableye, attack with Ice Beam, get a critical hit, and knock it out. So it's time for Glacia, and Hidden Power Electric is also helpful here because most of our Pokemon are water types. That isn't the case with the Glalie though, and I have to use a physical move here because Ice types resist other Ice moves. I go for a Fly, it does less than half. I try Hidden Power Electric because maybe it'll do more damage. It doesn't, but I still knock the Glalie out over the next 2 turns. I take care of the following Celio for 2 turns, and now it's time for her last Glalie.
מקווה שאולי השייני יש סיכוי קטנדם שהשייני יצא עם כל הביצים שישארו לנו. ישארו לנו אחרי זה עוד מייבי 20 ביצים.
Just barely won't. The Glalie survives with a sliver and knocks Daily Bird out. I tried one more time hoping that that would be just a rare unfavorable. But it doesn't look like it is because the Glalie survives again and Daily Bird goes down for the 3rd time. Okay, so the only choice is to use 2 more candies going to 70 and try again. This really should give me the damage ranges I need. And it does on both of the Glalie. So for the first time I have made it to the wall ring. I go for Hidden Power Electric. It does 1.5. That's perfect. And it knocks me out with speed. Still, I have wanted to make that rain in pretty much every fight. So maybe I can survive one of its hits. Well, not an Ice Beam, because I have orange health left. Also, sometimes I do lose at, like, say, the second Celio because it uses Blizzard, which is great. And after the second time it does this, I was like, yeah, okay, I should probably level up more. So let's go to level 73 and try again. Still at this level, Hidden Power Electric is not running for me. It's really nice that this thing likes to use Hail because then at least I can get my hit without losing it. I make it to the rest of our team and arrive at the ball range with 3 health. Okay, this is perfect. Hopefully I can survive it. Flying is just under half. Orange effect with Ice Beam. Daily Bird survives. I use Hidden Power Electric and survives. Not Daily Bird out. So clearly should have gone for 2 Hidden Power Electric.
האדומים האלה אני צריך שעתה. כולם נשים עכשיו סאב ולייק. אם אתם שמים עכשיו סאב ולייק, הדריפי יצא. יש לנו ביצה אחת. סאב ולייק והדריפי יוצא חברים. כולם עכשיו חייבים לשים סאב ולייק. עכשיו כולם שמים סאב ופריקינג לייק. הסאב והלייק יכולים לעזור. קופץ, תקפוץ, תקפוץ, ודריפי צהוב, כולם סאב ולייק, הכוח של כולם. נו.
that though, obviously just bring the Petriberry into the fight. I even get lucky here in this fight by freezing the Whiskerfish. Gyarados is next. I go for Hidden Power Electric, of course, for 4 times damage, knocking it out in a single hit. And now all that's left in Delibird's way is the Milotic. I go for Hidden Power Electric and it doesn't even do half. Surf hits, and that's it. I make it back to the Milotic, and it just looks like this is the same things. I'm not able to do half, and it's going to take me off on the first turn it attacks. So although I would really like to save my rare candies for Steven, I didn't need to use them now to take Delibird all the way up to level 78. Hopefully this will give me the 2. Because I'm at a higher level, I make it back to the Milotic with even more health. So let's see how much Hidden Power can do now. And unfortunately, still not half. Milotic uses Surf, gets a critical hit, and that's it. Now I did a little bit of research into Milotic, and I realized that it has more physical defense than it has special defense. Like significantly so, it has base 79 defense and base 125 special defense. So let's try to use Fly against it. And in this case, I get a critical hit, which just barely does not knock it out. As a result, Walls uses a Force Sword, I go for Power Electric, and I use Fly. Because this way I can bypass his use of another Caitlyn. Fly does uninspiring damage because my attacks down, and my Milotic knocks down. I lost a few more times, then I tried using the Silk Scarf to boost the damage of return, but it is giving it to him. It doesn't. I wondered if he saw it and maybe being poisoned from the tentacle would allow me to win, but no. Like we saw before, I cannot make it to the Milotic if I'm poisoned. So I thought about a less consistent strategy of maybe using Secret Power to paralyze the Milotic, but it does have miracle scales, so it's really useless defense. Unfortunately, I just get knocked out by the Whiscash in this fight, so I don't even get to test it out. And at this point, things were going so badly that I decided to throw in the towel, black out, and head into Victory Road to train. Normally I resist doing this as much as possible, because I've changed my moveset to being the same. That means if I decide to train more, then I won't have access to the moves that I had at the very beginning of the league when I re-attacked. However, in this case, Delibird's limited move is actually an advantage, because when I black out, I'll have the exact same moves for the league again. I am really trying to find some alignment here. For my training, I target level 81, because I need experience from the trainers in the league who get me to level 83 before I face equals again. I can just 1 damage running threshold will be enough to two-shot the Milotic run is going to be 4 hours. I do not think that I'm going to need speed in the next 12 and a half minutes. I come back to level 93, get a freeze on the scar rate. Perfect. Then I go for ice beam against the Claydol and it does knock it out. Okay. Here. Go for ice beam against the Cradle and knocks it out. Alright, so that's a fairly consistent knockout on this first 3 Pokemon. You know, the scar rate normally will survive. Now we have to contend with the Armaldo. I hit it with ice beam, takes it to orange health, and then ancient power knocks the Deliberta without a critical hit. So unfortunately, it's very problematic for a Pokemon when they have to defeat speed. I tried again, randomly survives, so that's bad. But once another reset, and this fight sends a Metagross weird.
בוא נראה. האם הרן הזה יהיה טוב?
This is like the best one. I am so happy. Please just freeze the Armaldo. But I don't, it takes me out with ancient power. So that is my 69th reset. And this playthrough is not nice. So trained up to level 95. I have 1 Merc and so I use those take me up to level 96 for this fight. Kind of nice numerology with 69 resets and level 96. I'm gonna knock the Star Ray out in 2
אוי, זה חמור לסרס את זה מפה. גם לא פה חיבון מרתים.
still only taking the Armaldo to orange health. Potential avenue to victory, either getting a critical hit or freezing. I tried to do this for the next few fights, but eventually it just became apparent that I couldn't really train up.
Shiny!
So I head back to the league to train up
No.
to the maximum possible level. I also spent time grabbing the Nevermelt Ice, so I'm hoping that this is going to boost Ice Beam's damage enough to hopefully one-hit the Skarmory. No, this doesn't get the one-hit. Are you kidding me? It retaliates with Toxic, and now I have no way to heal that, so yep, that's a reset. Well, let's see what the damage range is against the Armaldo. And I can take it to red now, but I still can't knock it out. But maybe, just maybe, I will survive Ancient Power. Of course I won't. However, there is one way to boost my damage. I head to the game corner and pick up an extra TM from Ice Beam, just in case this strategy doesn't work. And then I head to the Lilycove department store, where I buy the TM for Blizzard. Now in Generation 1, Blizzard has 90% accuracy, and in Generation 3 it has 70%. So this is really not the most consistent move. When I get back to the cave, I realize, like, why would I unlearn Ice Beam for Blizzard? Let's unlearn Return instead. Now with this powerful Ice-type move, I can one-shot the Skarmory, and that means I no longer need the Pecha Berry for the fight, so I can keep the Nevermelt Ice. Then I can knock out both the Claydol and Cradily with Ice Beam for more consistency, and move on to the Armaldo. Okay, Blizzard, please do this. And it does. Steven sends in Metagross next. I'm not going to one-hit it, so I go for Ice Beam first turn. It misses a Meteor Mash, which is very lucky. I go for another Ice Beam. Then it hits Meteor Mash and one-shots Delibird. And then it happens again. I do survive the next hit with 2 hit points, but I can't knock the Metagross out fast enough, so it takes me out both ways. And sometimes I also just miss Blizzard, so Armaldo knocks me out with Ancient Power. And making matters worse is the fact that Blizzard does not always one-shot this thing. Loss after loss stack up, and with that, I have 100 resets. I was really hoping that eventually I would freeze the Metagross and be able to win, but it just isn't panning out. And then after my 103rd reset, I realized what the solution is. And I have never gotten here in the entire 2.5 years that I've been doing these challenge points. This is a point where I'm going to have to use Double Team to win. So when I first implemented
ראיתם את זה? אוקיי. ביצן מצוף די שייני. ועם המצוף הוא מביא את המסערת. לא.
It's better to do this than just spamming double team because the Claydol only has 5 ancient power. So very soon I'll deplete it, and after that's done, it actually can't do damage to me because its only other damage usually is Earthquake. Still though, this isn't entirely consistent because I do continue to faint. I get fully set up after my 115th reset, and then I knock the Claydol out, knock the following Cradily out. Blizzard fails to one-hit the Armaldo, and it gets an ancient power through my setup, and Delibird goes down. So even with double team, this is still very inconsistent, but eventually I
Ma!
The question is, will I have the most reset?
אמא! עכשיו? טוב חברים, תקשיבו, באמת שעכשיו מאוחר ולא הייתי עם המשפחה שלי הרבה זמן, אז אני אסיים פה את הלייב. את שאר הביצים אנחנו נמשיך מחר כנראה. עשינו עם 43 מהביצים שהיו לנו. טוב, מקווה שנהנתם